Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Call. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from the upcoming theater production of Sex Please, We're 60. Can I even say that on the radio?
Yes, you can.
Apparently I can.
Yeah.
I can
disclaimers,
because I have. Ron Gilbert is here. Ron, welcome.
Good morning.
And this is a production of TKM Productions, and the M in TKM, Tom Milligan, is with us too as well. Thanks for being here.
Or whatever time this is.
Yeah, Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Just delete the greetings that do not apply to whenever you are listening to this, whether it's live on the radio or later on in the podcast or the video. But welcome again.
Thank you.
And this is well, to start with, I think we have to, I dealt with it a little bit. You said, Tom, that when people were buying tickets to this show, they're having a little bit of halting
anxiety.
speech, anxiety. There you go.
It's interesting because when Deb calls them, a lot of people leave messages to order tickets and stuff for Deb, and she calls them back and they say, well, we'd like to order tickets for the August show. It's like they don't want to say the word sex over the phone to Deb, but we know what show they're talking about when they do that.
Yeah, because if you, I can imagine if you called the box office and said, I want tickets to the sex show.
Yeah.
That brings with it some connotations that are probably not held true.
It could be a strange Google search too.
Very true. So with all that out of the way, it's obviously not a sex show.
No.
But tell me about it, Ron. Give me the back of the paperback version synopsis.
Well, the show is called Sex Please We're 60, and it takes place in a bed and breakfast, Mrs. Stancliffe's Rose Cottage, and she's known for especially return customers who happen to be women, as we say in the show, of a certain age. And she happens to have a couple of neighbors. One of them is the character that Tom plays, Bud. And Bud is convinced that the reason the women come back every year is because of the romance that he provides to them. He's nicknamed himself Bud the Stud. And hilarity ensues from there.
It's too, we were saying before we started the tape here, it's just too bad you couldn't find a good cast to do this. Oh my goodness, it's just it's like the Eastern Iowa Theater All-Stars.
It really is. I'm relatively new to the area, and this is the first theater project I've done here in the Cedar Rapids area.
Now we should say you're directing the show.
That's true. That's what they tell me. Yeah.
Although I suspect a lot of this kind of directs itself.
With this cast, absolutely. I mean, this is just really, it's been a pleasure to get to know all of these actors. Their credentials and their experience is really amazing, and they're just such good fits for the characters in this play. It's you give them fun words to say and fun situations, and the rest comes really easy.
So, Tom, run down the list, because as I said, a lot of these are going to be familiar names to people who enjoy theater in the corridor.
One of the things we've done in the past is we finally had just kind of a general open audition here a month or so ago, because we've got a really heavy Christmas show coming up. But we had really, for the last 3 years, have looked for people that we know would be right for the job, that in a lot of different ways, not only are they great talent, but they fit the role well. They played well with others, and we've had a lot of luck in being able to cast our shows that way. Had a few disappointments that weren't able to work out, but we found that another person that was just as qualified. So this show's a lot like that. So we have, let's see, from the Cedar Rapids area, we have Cheryl Thomason, Moon Thomason. We have Marty Norton, and we have Scott Hughes. From Iowa City, we have Mary Half Wiedemeyer. We have myself, and I think that rounds that out. Is that all of us?
I think we covered
I forgot one from Amana.
Right.
Meg Merkins.
Oh, right.
We pulled Meg Merkins back in. So, yes.
Summoned her back from the provinces.
Yeah, I was trying to go through the list of the locations we have. So Meg is joining us. So it is a rock star cast, and we couldn't be happier with this because we know everybody, we've worked with everybody, and that's part of our goal is to have fun, and to do shows that people are going to be able to enjoy and laugh and forget about the outside world and that. And this is kind of one of those situations. So we're very pleased with the cast.
Tell me about the script. Is it a fairly new play?
I think 2009, I believe, was what the date is on this. We have never worked with these playwrights before, so it's relatively new. I'll have to be perfectly honest with you that our attraction to it was the title.
Sure.
It is a and Ron can talk a little bit about style, but it is a full-blown farce, door-slamming farce where one door opens and another door closes, and people are on and off and not necessarily mistaken identity, but more or less mistaken instances of what happens, and a lot of mistakes going on and false assumptions.
Right,
And things
mistaken
like that.
identity, false assumptions.
Exactly,
I know there's some medication.
There's some medication involved.
Medication humor that goes along here. So Ron, as a director, now of course, first off, you've got a very experienced cast who knows this kind of material very well. But as a director, in a farce, the slamming doors, the people talking at the same time or talking right after, very fast and things like that. What are some of the tricks as a director you do to kind of get that pacing right? Because if the pacing is right, it's hysterical. If it's wrong, you're in trouble.
That's absolutely right. And because of entrances and exits and that kind of stuff, near misses, timing is important. Again, this cast is so experienced that they do an awful lot of that naturally. I think my job is to sort of just keep an eye on it and from an audience perspective, help coach whatever needs to be coached to make sure that it works well. We've also focused on the fact that, it's a farce. It's clearly a very funny material, but in fact, the playwrights have put together really good, likable characters, and they're all interesting and they have depth in their own way. And one of the things that we've talked about is that the humor comes out of the characters and the situations. I've reflected a lot on some of the classic sitcoms that we grew up with, especially ones that have physical humor like The Dick Van Dyke Show or Three's Company. That sort of lends itself to some of the stuff that we do here. But all of those things were very much character-driven and based on the situations.
The way the plot lays out, it very well could have been an episode of The Golden Girls or Three's Company or something like that. So how do you, so to some extent, we've kind of seen some of this before. How do you keep it? How do you make it fresh?
Well, again, it helps to have a good script. It helps to have great actors. I think what comes out of really knowing the characters and the situations is that spontaneity. These are all really talented comic actors. It helps to have people that play off you well, and so you're reacting as if it's the first time that you've seen it. And that just comes really naturally for these folks. It's a pretty easy task for them to be able to do that honestly.
Tom, what's your favorite moment in the show?
Well, I don't know if it's a favorite moment. There's several of them. This is probably the most physical show that I've done in quite a while since my new knee replacement. My other knee's blown out. So it's been the fun part of it is getting back into that physical thing of doing these bits with someone else where the timing has to be just right, the action has to be just right, or somebody's going to get hurt. So it's been a while since I've done a show like that. So This is kind of fun to get back into that physical in-out timing type of thing that's really fun with the farce.
Well, and our actors are of a certain age.
We're of a certain age, yeah.
And you do have to you do have to approach physical comedy in a lot different way than you did when you were 30.
Oh yeah. I know my limitations now, and it's like you just have to adapt to those, and that's who we are. We are that age, and we just can't ignore that. So, but that's part of the process, figuring out what we can do and what we can't do. So,
Tom, you mentioned some of the other things coming up in the season. You want to give us a quick preview?
Sure. We've got, let's see what we've got. We've got this show happening here, and then we have several different things. We've got, the Roosevelts are coming back that were here last year. We're actually doing Ding Darling meets the Roosevelts, so I'll be doing my Ding Darling show. That's this 9th of September, I believe.
So those are individual shows.
Those are individual shows.
You didn't write a new thing.
Right.
Where
No,
Ding
we're not going to
Darling
We may do a little
meets the
interlude in
Roosevelts.
between, but
Okay.
no. They have and it's all based on conservation.
Right.
So, which is the Ding Darling aspect. They have a whole conservation. Larry and Julia have a whole conservation show, so they'll be doing that. Another big one is we're bringing in Big Rock Candy Mountain, which is a bluegrass musical by a group out of the Quad Cities. Deb knew them from Circuit 21, so they're coming in for 2 shows in September. We've got another show coming in from Midwest Theater out of Des Moines. We've got a Halloween show coming up. We've got Deb's show, It's a Girl Thing, coming up. We've got bringing back Rod Pearson for his Christmas show
Nice.
this year. We're doing that. And then we end the year with Murder for Christmas, which is another Karen Schaefer show, original show. We're actually the premiering company for that show this year, so we'll be working with Karen and Alex on that. And so we're just kind of getting into, we're through our spring and through our summer camps, and now we're on to the meat of the year.
You've really ramped up too.
We have a
gone
little
from
bit,
doing just a few shows a year to doing a lot of productions.
We produce 5 shows a year, but by the time we're done, we'll have produced 13 different. Helped out with 13 different
bringing
events.
different things into the space,
and all of them, with the exception of one of them, is all still at the Amana Performing Arts Center in Amana. So
The play is Sex Please We're 60, opening August 23rd, yes?
Yes,
just one weekend, yeah?
Yeah, 23rd, 24th, those are 7:30 p.m. shows, and on the 25th is a 3 o'clock matinee. That show is selling really well, so if you're interested in the matinee, you need to do that. You can go online at tkmtheatricalproductions.com to get your ticket links, and all of those ticket links are now on for the entire rest of the season. So
all the stuff we've talked about, it's not too early.
Nope, not at all. You can go ahead and people are starting to order tickets for later on in the year. So, yeah.
All right. Well, this sounds like a blast.
I think it will be.
I can hardly wait.
Yeah.
So
We're sure having fun working on it.
I'll bet. So again, Sex Please We're 60. tkmtheatricalproductions.com. If you'd like more information, gentlemen, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or using your favorite podcast app. You can watch our videos. They're on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels, too. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.